right, let's continue with the digital landscape. We're going to talk about the social media networks and how to choose the right one. So in today's class, I'm going to talk about different social media networks and compare each of them based on the number of users, the type of users. And we'll talk a little bit about the legality issues with social media content. And we'll also talk a little bit about the global perspective. So if you're running a company that is global, then what are some of the sensitivities that you need to be aware of? All right, so let me go ahead and share. If you guys remember from last time, I told you that I used this app to create PowerPoint slides. And I went in and I didn't like the first ones that they created for me. So I went in and created a new set of PowerPoint slides. And I mean, I wasn't happy with most of it. And I changed and added information and created a completely new one. But it was kind of nice to have a foundation to build on. So I would definitely recommend that page. All right, so let's start with social media networks and types of networks. We're going to talk about the number of users. I mean, of course, social media networks have billions of users worldwide, and that's why they are a very, very powerful marketing tool. There are different types of social media networks, and depending on what kind of product you're selling, you don't necessarily have to utilize every single one of them. So you need to find the right one for your product, for your brand, and for your target audience. And the process of finding the right one is the key when you're determining your brand's appropriate platform. So if we categorize social media networks into three groups, there are the social networks where you can create your own profile, you can connect with family and friends. That's like Facebook type networks. Microblogging sites are where you can post a short content that is kind of like Twitter. And then there are image sharing sites where you can share photos and images or videos. So sometimes you need to do a trial and error to find which kind of network is ideal for your brand. And even if you utilize more than one, you want to know the one that is going to be the most effective. So the key is to find the social media channels that best connect with your target audience and where you can engage those customers within those chosen platforms. You want to be able to create a dialogue with your target audience, right? The social media networks allow you to spread your information. It can help you create buzz. It can generate momentum for your products, for your brand. Sometimes social networks use leisure activities. For example, a brand may use a music festival to position their brand as the authentic lifestyle option for those consumers. So there are a lot of different ways of using social media and utilizing the power of social media to spread the word about your brand. All right, let's compare the platforms a little bit. So of course, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those are probably, and TikTok obviously are probably some of the top ones. Facebook is a social network where you create your profile, you communicate with your friends, your colleagues, your family. The user type is wide ranging, but lately it's trending older. So the older generation uses Facebook a lot more than the younger generation, but it has a very high importance in terms of marketing. Instagram is an image sharing site. Mostly younger audience, they are more focused on the visuals. It's a very high importance level for marketing. Twitter is considered a microblogging site. There are a lot of different types of users and they're changing daily. It does have high importance for marketing. TikTok is very, very important for marketing. It's a short form video site, and younger audiences with a passion for different viral trends are going to be there. So if your target audience is the younger generation, for example, you're selling more teenager clothing or younger, maybe 17 to 24-year-old range, this is probably one of the best areas where you can market your products. Pinterest is an image sharing site. It has a majority female audience. As far as the research done in 2017, it is 80% female, 20% male users. It has a huge audience, but these are more focused on fashion, DIY crafts, home decor, and this social site is more about discovery. So there's a lot of opportunity for fashion brands, for home decor brands, for any DIY craft type companies. So Pinterest has high importance for marketing as well. Snapchat is an image sharing or also a messaging app. Again, this is more youthful audience. The marketing importance is rated as medium for Snapchat, probably because of the type of users that are in there. I'm losing a couple here. Hold on. Okay, there's also Google Plus, which has a lower marketing importance. It's more for tech savvy and professional users. It's a social network. I mean, I don't even think a lot of people use it. LinkedIn is more for professional networking. A lot of business professionals and people who are looking for a job use LinkedIn. It does have high marketing importance, but it's also more important for job search and others. And 79% of users on LinkedIn are 35 years old or older. So you need to understand that as well. So again, when we compare these sites, let's go back with the most popular ones. Users share millions of links every 20 minutes on Facebook. So it is really important to spread the word. On Instagram, at some point, most followed brand was Nike. So for fashion brands, it's really highly important. There are millions of active users of Instagram. When you come to Twitter, again, it limits what you can post to a certain number of characters. And it's really big in the US, but it's really penetrating and spreading to all the other countries as well. And there are thousands of tweets happening every second right now. It has millions of followers. So those are the important sites. And TikTok has become more and more important since it came out. Even though there are some issues or concerns about TikTok, it's a huge marketing tool. And Pinterest helps you discover products, so it's important in that way. Let's look at some other demographics for social media platforms. For example, this is Twitter users by country. US is the top one, and then you have Japan, then India, UK, Brazil, Indonesia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia is on the top 10, Mexico, and Thailand. This is interesting to see, depending on what kind of products or what kind of where majority of your target audience is. And this would be important to understand. Instagram, average age on Instagram is 18 to 28. Above 65, it's really much lower number of users. So you can see your target audience here is going to be much younger population. LinkedIn, you can see it here, comparing female and male users on LinkedIn, depending on age. So 18 to 24-year-old, it's mostly male. And you can see majority male users on LinkedIn. TikTok demographics, if you look at TikTok, it actually starts with 10 to 19 years old. So the youngest generation is using TikTok. 20 to 29 is here, and then 30 to 39, 40, 49, and then 50. So you can see the difference between Instagram and TikTok. But again, also pay attention to the percentage. So Almost 70% of Instagram users are between 18 to 28. Over 60% of Instagram users are under the age of 30. Almost 70% here is 18 to 29 years old on Instagram. So you can see here it's almost 10% only for 65 and over. Majority is in the 18, 28-year-old range. When you look at TikTok, over 60% of TikTok users are between the ages of 16 and 24, which is amazing. You know, it's a huge difference. Again, we talked about LinkedIn, 25 to 34 years old. There is more males in that age range. So it's a little bit more after university degree, more professional working population. This is another comparison of social media networks. And I talked about this briefly, but I just wanted to add this slide. This is also in your book. All right, so why is it so important to use social media for the fashion industry? First of all, it's an excellent tool for fashion brands to increase their visibility, to spread the word, to reach a wider audience and find more customers. Second reason is you connect and have a dialogue with your customers. You engage with them on social media, and that creates more loyalty for your brand. And third, you showcase your new products. So if you have any new products, you can post them on Instagram, you can post them on Facebook, and this is an excellent platform to share your products. Because in the past, it wasn't so easy to access all these consumers in one place and let them see all your products. I mean, you were advertising in a magazine, only people who buy the magazine would see it. You were advertising on billboards, only people who pass by the billboards would see it. Now with social media, you can reach so many people in such a short time, and people also spread the word. Sometimes they share content, right? So these are some effective strategies for marketing. You have to engage with your audience, you have to reply to comments, you have to like things, share their posts, use hashtags, join conversations. Second, you want to create shareable content where you create content where your audience just loves it so much they want to share it with other friends, and that increases your visibility. That helps you create a buzz that reaches so many more people on social media. And number three is you want to collaborate with influencers. Partnering with influencers has become a huge deal nowadays for many brands, because if somebody has a huge following, then it's important to engage them in your brand's products. That way, you're creating more credibility for your product, and you're also reaching more customers. Even some influencers who do not have a huge following, sometimes those influencers have a specific following. They don't have many, but they have this niche followers. And sometimes, depending on the type of product you're selling, those type of influencers might be important for your brand as well. Okay, let's talk about the social media landscape. There are a couple of things. One is bookmarking. This is saving contents and links you like, and you share them with other people. Pinterest does that perfectly. So this is more like a bookmarking or social curation type of site. Polyvore, Flipbook, those are all similar. So this is for saving content and share them with others. The second one is media sharing. So like YouTube, Vimeo, Flickr, those type of sites, they allow you to share your media. Microblogging is creating short, small content like Twitter, Tumblr, LinkedIn. Those are more bite-sized information that you're feeding. And number four is expiring digital content. Expiring digital content is like Snapchat or your Instagram stories, Whisper. Those are some of the sites where you can share something for a short time, but because it expires after a certain time, then people have a tendency to look at it before it goes away, right? So has this urgency of looking at content before it expires, and that is enticing to gain the attention of others. I do want to talk a little bit about Snapchat. Snapchat is not one of the top social media networks, or at least it's not considered one for marketing purposes. But the luxury market has taken Snapchat as their marketing tool because they wanted to target the next generation of luxury consumers. For example, Valentino, Dior, Louis Vuitton, they joined this highly engaged Snapchat community to advertise their luxury products. So the luxury brands were trying to find new ways to reach their audiences by showcasing clips or snapshots from their runway shows, for example, and that became effective. So even though it may not be rated as a high importance for marketing, it may still have a potential, and you need to understand that. All right, so copyright and content regulations. If you're sharing someone else's content, you have to be careful about not taking credit for the original content. For example, in Pinterest, when you pin something that you like, you are crediting the original content. You're not saying, I created this image or I created this picture. You're just referring to the original content that was created before. Retweets are the same way, but if you just take somebody else's words and then tweet it as your own, this is kind of a copyright issue, and you have to be careful about that. Also, regulations are not the same everywhere in the world. In some countries, the copyright laws are a lot stricter than the United States. In the US, for example, a fashion design cannot be copyrighted. But in France, they can copyright original designs. And if you copy that design, you can get in trouble. So social media usage is kind of similar in that sense. You need to know the laws of the country that you're active or you have a following, and you have to be careful about copyright issues. So fair use restrictions, again, this is similar to the copyright issues. You have to be careful about what you share. You can retweet content from somebody else, but because, Twitter, Pinterest, those type of websites are also not very commercial. They usually get away with most of the things they do, and they're also always referring to the original source, so those are legal. The FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they created guides concerning the use of endorsements in advertising, and this is basically to protect consumers from deceptive acts or practices in online marketing. For example, the brands give gifts to influencers to publicize their product. That information must be disclosed. If you are making money by advertising somebody else's product, then you need to make it clear that you are making money for creating content to advertise this brand, right? And if you're not doing that, and if you are just telling people, oh, I use this makeup and it was just so amazing, and I recommend everybody to use it, this can be kind of a concern because you're not disclosing that you are taking money from that brand to say that on your Instagram page. So those are some of the issues. Again, I guess it also depends on the authenticity of the influencer and the trust they have among their followers. But the FTC wanted to regulate this a little bit. So they said if you have gifts or money that you give to influencers for publicity of your products, that information must be disclosed. This happens a lot on Amazon as well. There are a lot of Amazon reviews for products. And sometimes the person who did the review actually got money from Amazon for that review. And now they are always disclosing that information, that they did this review because they got some free products, right? So this is part of the guides concerning the use of endorsements in advertising. act that Federal Trade Commission started. And finally, the global perspectives. Some big brands have country-specific content, like Dior has that, Marc Jacobs, Vogue. Those type of companies are more sensitive to different countries, their culture, especially globally recognized brands are more sensitive about this because they have a huge audience in different countries. So they want to create content that's not going to be offensive for the culture. And also there are different laws that regulate social media networks in different countries. I mean, if you think about China, for example, I believe Facebook was banned in China. I don't know if it is still going on, but there are issues like that too that you have to be aware of. And so your favorable platform to advertise your product in the US might be Instagram, but in another country, it may be Twitter, or in some other country, it may be Facebook, or Facebook may not be the best social media network to use in, I don't know, Turkey. So you have to understand which platform is better for you in different countries. There are a number of guidelines here when you are venturing into the global world of social media marketing. It should have been SMM. Sorry, guys. Let's correct that. Social media marketing. So generate a narrative with a global perspective to deliver the right message and to communicate between the brand and the target market. Number two, have a country-specific social platform. So identify the right channel that will best reach your brand's target market in that country. And number three, localize your reach. Just watch what the local current events are or who are the key influencers in that region, in that country, and be more localized and specific, and you will get a lot more followers. All right, I am done for today. I will have an assignment for you on Blackboard. So let's stop sharing. And I'll see you guys in our next class.